You're watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the final round of the AOLL Cup Series. I'm Josh Lassen for Ghostfire Media, and with me tonight, as always, is Mr. Carl Henderson.
Hey, Josh, how's it going tonight? I am very excited about this race. We just ran here Thursday night in TNT Series. I absolutely love this track. It is not Martinsville, as the title says. It is Phoenix.
Yeah, that would require me to remember to change everything. Gonna screw something up every week.
Hey, it happens.
Well, now it's right.
Yeah, I think the things to watch you got pointed out there, man. I think those are spot on right there. At least for the ARCA cars, that's how it's performed. I mean, have you run any laps in the Cup cars?
I did just in practice last weekend, trying to help Mr. Adam Wood get a leg up in the IVRL this past Tuesday. It's a little bit tighter than it was in the ARCA cars, so may not have as many issues of getting loose out of turn 2, which is a very, very flat turn. But I think it's still definitely going to be something to look out for. And the other thing is going to be tire temperatures tonight. It is a cool night out in the digital desert, but as you got to experience on Thursday night, if you get these tires just a little bit too warm, they get a little bit loose on you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's constantly a battle with managing your tires and taking care of them. So yeah, I mean, it's non-stop, just like it never ends. You just got to be focused on that.
Yeah, and as we're starting to see, we do have only 4 drivers right now battling it out for the championship. We have Justin Anderson, Blake Gordon, Steve Gotzchalk, and Joshua Hanner all left in the running for these last 3 races.
Yeah, and you know, Hanner is out tonight. Was not able to make this race, so he's going to be at a deficit coming into the next week. So those other drivers, Blake Gordon, Justin Anderson, Steve Gottschalk, they have to be thinking in the back of their minds, like, sure, we're racing each other, but if we get the 3 of us, we can keep it clean and have a decent race, we can eliminate someone essentially tonight. So I think that that's going to got to be thinking of that.
Well, and one of the positives that we're going to have in terms of tonight being a clean race, right now we only have 11 people that have set laps, but we only have 16 total in the session tonight. As we come to Kyle Brooks getting a little loose coming across the line, and I guess my things to watch tonight aren't going to be all that wrong. But that was also turn 3, 4? I can never remember since iRacing.
Yeah, so turn 4 is the one that's got a bit more banking, and you see Adam Wood out there right now on my screen is just doing burnouts because with a screwed up car. I don't know what he's doing, but
screwed up his lap, and Gael Brooks ended up losing his, and qualifying is actually over. So I'm going to go ahead and run through the grid right now and get everything situated, because you have things you need to go do, Mr. New Admin.
We're good. We're good. You can go ahead and finish it off at 10, and I'll take over.
All right, sounds good. Our pole sitter tonight is Mr. Blake Gordon. Second is Steve Godstock. Third is Justin Anderson. So the three chase drivers that are still in it take 1, 2, 3. Brandon,
sounds like it's rigged.
It may be. Fourth is Brandon Bernhardt, and I don't think he was going for that. I don't think he would lay off. But fifth is Joe Dinsmore. Sixth, Teddy Weichel. Seventh, Dan Witt. Eighth, Brian McFerrin. Ninth is Derek Schilling. 10th is Mike Burgess.
In 11th, we have Timothy St. Jean. 12th is Gael Brooks. 13th is David Naughton. 14th, Adam Wood. 15th, John Gordon. And 16th, Justin Edwards.
And that's a name I haven't heard in a while.
That is a name we haven't heard in a while. But in a 69 car, nice. Wow, what a small field. This has to be the smallest cup field we've had this year.
Everybody was too excited to watch the actual championship earlier today, and
see Larson win. Sorry for the spoilers for anyone who hadn't seen it.
And we've got quite a while, because the pace car peels off on this track. In my mind, far too early.
This is so brutal. I was not expecting it to be this bad. But when you're out there on track, you have to maintain pace speed for so long with no pace car in front of you. It's not fun.
And we're hitting the restart zone, and the green flag should be flying momentarily, and they are off. And Blake Gordon is using every bit of that dog leg to get an advantage over Steve Gottschalk, and he is under pressure very early from Justin Anderson.
Well, no surprise there. We've seen that all year, right? I mean, it's in every series that they race in, these two guys are constantly right there with each other. And right now, Blake Gordon has the edge, but we've seen over and over. Oh, Justin Anderson gets a little loose there.
As Justin Anderson ends up checking up the field a little bit there, giving Blake Gordon well over a second of a gap right now. And we're starting to see Brandon Bernhardt trying to take it to Joe Dinsmore along the outside. It's not the worst line to be taking in the new reconfiguration that they have here.
No, absolutely not. But I'll tell you what, I mean, it's no surprise to see Blake Gordon. I mean, you can see on the track map over there on the right already a huge lead. It's not a surprise to see this. At least, I mean, turns 1 and 2 here are very much like a short track. I mean, this is a 1 mile track. It's kind of not an intermediate. It would be considered a short track by many people, but it's
only
still
1
not like
mile.
a short. Right, it's not a short track like Bristol or Martinsville, but turns 1 and 2 behave very similar to a shorter track.
A New Hampshire.
New Hampshire's a great way to put it, and Blake Gordon is good at those styles of track, and here he is pulling away by almost 2 seconds now.
And I'm wanting to jump back because we have gone single file, but it looks like John Gordon just keeps blinking out on me. So we'll go to Adam Wood right here. As
Adam Woo!
These guys at the back of the field are not... They didn't probably push too hard in their qualifying to make sure that they weren't in the mix with these guys up at the front. But that does not mean that they do not have pace.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, we've seen Adam Wood have pace every week in both Cup Series and the Sportsman Series. I have a feeling that maybe he chose not to qualify so he could not get caught up in the things that he always seems to get caught up in. Maybe just trying to, play it a little slow and see if he works his way through the field slowly, and hopefully there's, hopefully for him, there's some sort of big incident in front of him and he can avoid it.
Well, and right now, Brandon Bernhardt did get himself back around Joe Dinsmore, but he is right on that bumper, and I'm wondering if those 80 laps we did here in the ARCA cars was a blessing or a curse for him tonight.
I don't know if I ever have the answer to that, because this is one thing you and I have talked about extensively with us doing, you and I dabbling a little bit in IndyCar. It's like you get more experience racing around people and understanding like the racing lines, but at the same time, it's like it's a different car, and obviously an ARCA car is going to perform closer to this than an IndyCar would, but it's still different. And you may think, okay, I'm going to take this corner the same way I did with my ARCA car, and it may work, but it may not be the fastest.
Oh, as Joe looks like he may have been right up against that bumper of Brandon Bernhardt and gave him a little nudge. But Joe Dinsmore, he has nothing to lose here tonight, right? I mean, no. He is he's not currently a championship. Not currently. He's not. He was eliminated last week from the championship, and has had good speed, good consistent speed all year. But I think now, for the first time all season, he's kind of let loose, and like, I don't have to worry about consistency anymore. I can just go out and try to win a race now. Well, unfortunately, pinned back where he is not going to be helpful, because Teddy Weichel has gotten around him, gets through the dogleg, gets below Brandon Bernhardt, and that's actually going to help him in the long run by forcing Brandon up a lane through 1 and 2. But
I'll tell you something remarkable that's happening right now. If you look at that track map in the top right, we talked about how much of a gap Blake Gordon worked up. But look at Steve Gottschalk and Justin Anderson as well, pulling off a gap between them and fourth place Teddy Weichel. I mean, it's clear that these guys have put in the time this week to try to pull away here. And I'm just looking at the championship standings right now. Obviously, Blake Gordon has pulled up to a huge lead. In the points, he has a unofficial 13-point lead at this point. But Gottschalk and Anderson are not out of this by any means. They're just trying to stay in striking distance.
Well, and with the two of those guys being on the same team, they're going to race each other a little bit cleaner until the last few laps. And then it becomes no holds barred.
Josh, are you saying that you don't race me cleanly on the last few laps?
Some would argue that I end up not racing you cleanly the first few laps, too, when I'm talking to one of those people.
No. Honestly, I think that to reach a point, I mean, you always just want to win, but it's like a constant battle. Like, you race people like they race you, whether they're your team or not. There are some teammates that I would possibly race harder than people that aren't on my team on the track. So it depends. But I'll tell you what, I'm looking at Justin Anderson right now. I think he's narrowing that gap a little bit with Blake Gordon. Now, Blake may be, slowing down his pace just a little bit to conserve those tires, but it's also possible that Blake's run through those tires at this point.
Well, you aren't watching him. You're watching Blake.
Well, I mean, I'm watching on the timing and scoring. I've got my screen set to always follow the leader. But yeah, Justin right now is definitely narrowing that gap at this point. It was like a 2.75. We're about 2.75 again. I think Justin had some trouble in that corner. But right now, they're not. Look, you're not trying to win the race at this point. The goal right now is just to keep from losing the race. We're at lap 16. We are still early in this race.
And they only have 3 sets of tires, so.
Well, speaking of which, do you know what a fuel run is here for these cars?
I don't.
I'm going to look that up real quick, see if I can find any driver that has their data published on VRS. Otherwise, we might have to pull someone in.
Well, I know who we can pull in just because I kind of like chatting with the guy occasionally.
Thank you for watching.
That was me hitting the wrong button there.
Let's see here. How about...
well, I don't have mine automatically upload until after the race, which is...
Yeah, but he's going to get some practice times here. I got Brandon Bernhardt's here from 13 minutes ago. We'll see see what he's got here. He is looking like we're in the 40s in terms of laps.
That's kind of what I figured. Is a full tank with the Arcas was sitting on about 60 to 65, depending on your driving style, and we're running 65%. And they tend to be relatively similar. So we are looking at a two-stopper no matter what tonight.
Yeah, I would think so, but honestly, if we have cautions, that's what's going to change everything up. And yeah, here I found a good long stunt. I think we're looking at about 45 laps on a run.
Well, Johnny Downey just brought up the 42, so good call.
What did he bring up there?
He
said
said
42? Yeah, 42 about that. I think might be able to squeeze out a little bit more than 42, but I think some guys are also going to pit earlier because, possibly get an advantage on tires there.
Well, and if we're looking at a two-stopper, this could be one of those races to where 42 is accurate. You may need to do a little saving to make sure that that's accurate. And then if we have someone like a Blake Gordon who goes full throttle all the time as much as he possibly can, as we can see by the 3-second gap he has right now.
Yeah, any thoughts I had that Blake or Justin Anderson may have been catching up Blake Gordon, that's out the window. That's not happening. Blake is setting a blistering pace right now.
Well, Justin's last lap. Let's actually
pull up the stats. Let's take a look.
He's ever so slightly faster the last 2 laps.
But look at lap 17 and 18 there, how big that gap was for Blake Gordon. I mean, he made up. I mean, Blake extended that lead by quite a bit more those 2 laps. And see what happened here. Blake pulled away by a little bit. Yeah.
And maybe he was listening, and now he's got more than a comfortable gap. So it's time to go ahead, pull it back, maintain the gap, and make sure that you can run the same number of laps as everyone behind you.
Well, yeah, and it's not just about fuel. I mean, it's about tires as well. I mean, I've had so many races where I've either been the person leading the race and burned through my tires, or I've been the person stalking the person that burned through their tires, and it's this constant balancing act, because if you try to conserve and then a caution comes out, all the conserving was completely pointless.
Well, and I'm gonna jump back here just because that is this battle for 4th right now is heating up as Brandon Bernhardt's getting very aggressive on the dogleg, whereas the 2 that he's running around are not. And it's all going to come down to who gets the best launch out of here as we see Joe Dinsmore just get ever so slightly loose.
Yeah, but he did a great job of correcting. No issues for Joe there. But I think Teddy Weichel's in trouble right here. He's going to lose a couple spots, I think.
Oh, is Joe Dinsmore. We're going to go 3 wide. Oh, come on, go 3 wide, guys. Come
on, do it. I love seeing 3 wide. Thursday night here in TNT, I got caught 3 wide a few times. It's doable, but it's a little terrifying.
Well, and that's the reason why this track, it feels so much bigger than a mile long, because it is so wide. 3 wide is not out of the question at any point.
Yeah, I mean, look, I wouldn't want to be 3 wide in turns 1 and 2, but 3 and 4 and dogleg, not an issue at all.
I say 1 and 2, it's fine to throw it in there. And
well, that's because you are more talented than I am. And
no, I am braver than you. That's all the more that is. Heck, I was 3 wide Wednesday night in the Sportsman at North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, I would have been slamming on my brakes in that situation. But, hey, we've got Gael Brooks just entered the pits. I'm not sure if he had damage or...
No. What he does is... Adam was doing this constantly earlier. If you cut it too far down,
you're right.
It says that you're going, and
you're right.
I like that line, though.
Oh, I do too. I love trying to tag, get to the inside of the commitment cone, or not commitment cone, the blue cone there.
Yeah, just take and push the blue cone.
Well, I mean, look, ideally, I'm not touching the blue cone because I'm so far inside of it. You know, at least in the ARCA cars, hitting that ideal line, like where you just nail 3 and 4, and then just doing a perfect turn down. I hardly ever did that Thursday night, but these guys tonight, man, they are looking sharp. I mean, we're 30 laps in, 0 cautions at this point.
Well, and we're going to stick on this race because right now these guys, while Brandon Bernhardt is starting to pull away, Adam Wood's joining the fray with Joe Dinsmore as he tags the wall coming out of 2, and that's going to put him even more under pressure from Adam Wood. But we're going to move up to the blimp here.
Yeah, I mean, let's take a look at the blimp view because this is actually a track that has a really good blimp view. Got to focus on the leader over there. I'm going to cut back to a better battle. We'll cut back here to
where I'm already.
Yeah, I was trying to find. That was Dan Witt here.
I was going to say that is another great battle that we've got going on, and the entertainment's coming from the mid-pack today.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's no surprise. I mean, when you've got someone like Blake Gordon, we keep talking about how much of a gap Blake Gordon's built up, but again, Gottschalk and Anderson have built up a huge gap between themselves, and they're like running halfway in between Blake Gordon and Brandon Bernhardt. Actually, they have a little bit. I think they have it's about halfway between. So,
well, and Steve has actually brought himself a little farther back from Justin. He's got about a second as we look down on the lower screen there, and we've got Brian McFerrin getting down low on Dan Witt getting the pass done, but Dan may try to cross him over.
Yeah, I think Dan realizes probably at this point he probably does not have as much speed as Brian McFerrin, having no issues there staying off of Dan Witt.
Well, and we're coming to the point that if you saved your tires well, you've got some speed right now.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at lap times right now, I mean, Justin Anderson and Gotzchalk right now are a little bit slower than really the rest of the field, so I think they are almost certainly on a conservation strategy. Gottschalk and Anderson are almost certainly trying to either conserve fuel or their tires at this point. I'm going to guess fuel by the fact that we are closing in on our fuel window very quickly.
And I'm not certain that waiting this long is truly going to help them. Unless they were doing it that whole time, there's not going to be too much savings. You're not really going to be able to add more.
Well, it could be a situation
at most.
Right. Well, right. That should be it. I mean, it could be they were in a situation where it was saying they have 5.9 laps remaining. They're just trying to save just that extra tenth so they can make it a full 6 laps.
And right now, this group in the battle for 4th has had Gael Brooks catch up a little bit, and he's gaining by close to 1/10 of a second on Adam Wood every lap at this point. And I'm not sure if that's because Joe Dinsmore is slowing Adam up ever so slightly, or just Gael saved very well.
Yeah, and what I've done here is I've actually switched mine over to the pit lane camera. We're going to watch here because honestly, I think that the timing of the pit stops could determine the winner of this race. And I think this first pit stop is going to define that more than any other pit stop. So I'm not saying that whoever comes first is going to win it because, caution could screw all that up. But I think that is going to end up having an impact on the result. So we'll just keep it on here on the pit lane camera, see when someone's coming on here.
Well, as we are close to hitting lap 40, I'm hoping to see that I would like to see 42 be the max, in all honesty.
Well, yeah, I'm ready for it to go. I'm here just in case. I think that either Justin Anderson or Gottschalk have got to swing for the fences right now. It has to be clear to them they are not faster than Blake Gordon right now. And he already came in with 9 bonus points for his wins in the previous round of the playoffs. I think one of them has to go for something crazy at the very least, just to, the moment their fuel window opens, they need to go as early as possible, in my opinion.
Well, as we're at lap 41 right now, so this would be after this lap. This is roughly 1/3 of the race as Mike Burgess, and we have our first caution.
That is not what we wanted to see there.
No, that is. Let's take a quick look. Turns 1 and 2. Just gets it loose, slams the wall, and those are some brilliant iRacing physics right there.
Was that a 69 that he tagged a little bit? I think
yes, it was.
There. I'm actually surprised. I mean, like the Cup car I know obviously behaves different than the ARCA car, but it was surprising to me that happened there.
We'll go to pit lane, and everyone's on their way in because this falls right in the pit cycle window, and these laps of caution are going to help them.
I mean, honestly, if it had been lap 20, I would have, even the caution came out, I would have come in, the tires help. So, yeah, I think no surprise here that everyone's coming in the pit.
Well, with the exception of Justin Edwards, who was a lap down.
Well, if he was a lap down, he wouldn't be eligible to pit yet, so he'd have to come back around one more time and then pit. If he was a lap down, I'm not sure.
And right now, seeing the gaggle just fly off of pit lane, but watching everybody end up getting stacked up, this is gonna make it very interesting for our start.
Yeah, no changes up front from what it appears. And honestly, this seems like a situation very similar to what I ran into with the TNT race, where it felt like the pits opened exceptionally early. I don't think Justin Anderson, Steve Gottschalk had time to catch up with Blake Gordon prior to the pits opening, so they never had a chance of passing on pit road.
And, well, we get to line ourselves back up. Really, the major shakeup at the front is, rather than Steve Gotzchalk starting in second, it's going to be Justin Anderson this time. Brandon Bernhardt's right back where he started, and then Teddy Weichel is up 1 position. Adam Wood is up 8.
No surprise there with Adam Wood.
And Joe Dinsmore has lost 2 positions. Gael Brooks is up 4. Brian McFerrin is up 1. Brian McFerrin's down 1. Dan Witt is down 3.
Yeah,
then Tim St. Jean's right where he started.
Yep.
And the rest are kind of just shakeups.
Yep. I mean, this is honestly, this is, this is the first act of the play at this point, and you're just sort of setting yourself up for the second act. If we were doing stages, that's kind of what you're doing here. It's that first set, I'm not going to say it wasn't important, but it does definitely, I think you're going to see the aggression level turn up a great deal over the next, what do we have left? 170 laps or so?
80.
Well, I'm not going to make it, so.
As the pace car does peel off, so Blake Gordon does have the opportunity to go whenever he wants at this point. But
which he has a long time to make that decision.
The smart money is on right as you start to enter the turn, because everybody else will react. and get going in the middle of a turn where it could break loose, and there Blake goes. Justin gets an awful jump on that, and that's going to put him under pressure. He's going to lose a position to Steve Gottschalk. He's taking the outside, trying to get
outside.
much momentum through this turn as he can, and gets the position back. But it looks like we may have had a little bit of chaos towards the back.
Well, no surprise there with the timing of the restart. That's just how it goes, but we're staying green.
We are, as Teddy Weichel, Brandon Bernhardt, Adam Wood, Joe Dinsmore, these guys are still together, with Brandon Bernhardt being a position back from where he restarted, but him being trapped up on that top line makes it so Adam Wood should be able to get clear, but he doesn't. And Brandon is fighting hard on the outside right now, trying to make sure that he can put Adam Wood back behind him. And he gets the pass done on the back stretch or front stretch.
Well, I would say he made it work, but Adam's fighting back now.
And Adam has the opportunity to drop all the way down on that dog leg. Cut about 1/10 of a second off. And Brandon staying high is going to open up the door for Joe Dinsmore. But Brandon is able to slot in front of him.
And he smartly gets down to the bottom this time. He's not going to let anyone else pass him on the inside
and
there.
He's
like
going to follow wherever Adam Wood goes. And Adam is staying on the track surface proper. So he's going to stay there, make sure he still has that draft, as Brandon is going in deep into turn one.
Yeah, and I'm I was hoping to see some more racing up front. I've been, kind of going through Gottschalk and Anderson, but honestly, for the most part, we're just everyone's kind of keeping it nice and smooth, and I think they're still trying to save just a little bit for like potentially a late caution. And again, this is unlike the NASCAR point system where if it's not winner takes all. We are not deciding a championship here tonight. You've still got 2 more races after this, so I think kind of going into this, what I was saying, Gottschalk and Anderson are probably thinking like, hey, we just have good, solid runs tonight. We're not out of reach of Blake Gordon, and we potentially eliminated Josh Hanner from contention. So I think that's what they're trying to do right now.
And as it stands, that's pretty much going to be the case. Is with them finishing 1, 2, and 3, it's Rockingham next week, followed by the championship at Homestead. Honestly, Rockingham is going to be more of a wild card, I would say. Whereas we've seen it, Justin Anderson, Steve Gotzchalk are going to excel at Homestead.
Yeah. And what I'm watching right now, and I mean, I actually thought Blake Gordon pulled up to more of a gap than he has already, but I'm watching in car with Steve Gottschalk right now, and it's fun watching. Like you can see, in that bottom right there, that little tiny dot up there, that's Blake Gordon. But Justin Anderson right there in front of Steve, and I mean, these 3 championship contenders right now are staying together and trying to keep themselves from being eliminated contention. Trying to keep that gap as close as they can.
As we're seeing from Justin Anderson, he's using a little bit more of the dog leg than Steve is. But right now, Teddy Weichel has not dropped nearly as much, and he's right on that in the striking zone for Steve going into the dogleg.
Yeah, Teddy Weichel having a heck of a run here tonight, but I have to wonder, Adam Wood, again, has moved up 9 spots since the start of the race. If Adam can get up there and start fighting with Teddy, that might make it harder for Teddy to get up there and pass Steve Gottschalk. But it looks like he might do that before Adam Wood can get there.
And that's not going to help the cause of our championship drivers right now, because yes, Steve will need to make sure he can get every point he possibly can going into this.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to switch back to the gearbox camera for the Gottschalk and just kind of watch this battle as it develops, as he's got Teddy Weichel and Adam Wood right behind him.
They're seeming to pull away ever so slightly from Adam Wood, but the pressure that Teddy Weichel is putting on Steve Gottschalk is not what he wants to see, because that's going to force him to drive a little bit harder to hold on to the position. And we did see him start to drop from Justin Anderson later in the run or on the first stint.
I was about to say, I don't know if that's going to change up his driving too much, because I think he's going to have to, he's trying to keep in range of Justin Anderson regardless. So I think for the most part, until Teddy Weichel is able to get there and put himself in Steve Gottschalk's line somewhere, I think Steve's just running his normal line. That's what you expect to see out of a veteran driver, is you don't change up your line until the person sticks their nose in there.
Well, as we do see Steve taking slightly different lines throughout, and I'm going to actually jump back because right now Guile Brooks is trying to move his way through the field, gets around Brandon Bernhardt, but Brandon is trying to fight back on the inside through 1 and 2, and it looks like he's going to have the inside line going into 3. But the question is, will he be able to hold on to it, but with that extra run that Guile's going to have?
Yeah, I went and switched mine over to Teddy Weichel. We'll keep an eye on that, because I do think that Weichel is going to be able to make this pass eventually, but yeah, we've got great racing throughout the field right now. This is definitely, with the exception of our leader Blake Gordon, I think we're seeing a lot more racing. Even Steve Gottschalk and Justin Anderson have not pulled out to the gap they did in that first run.
And more than that, Blake has not pulled out to the gap that he had previously.
Well, that's true, but it is still the biggest gap on the track right now.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and go back to this one, because otherwise it cuts things off to where Blake is faster. And of course we say that, and now Blake's just like, no, I got to prove you guys wrong.
Yeah.
It's time to go off on my terror, as we are halfway through this race on lap 63. We've had a single caution tonight, and other than that, unfortunately for everyone out there, we aren't really getting to see that battle up at the front, because Blake is, well, being Blake on a flat track.
That's no surprise there. I'm hopeful still that we will have green flag to finish this thing. I want to see green flag stops here. I think it'll be insane.
I want to see green flag stops for one simple reason, as Timothy St. Jean actually has made his way into the pits. And there's Tim throwing out that strange strategy as usual.
I don't think that can be a strange strategy at this point. I don't think he can make it. There's no possible way he can make it to the end. So I think that's possibly he had some issues.
Well, he could just be going in for some tires, and he's blinking. That's why, Mike.
I think he might be having some issues. Poor Tim. That's unfortunate for him.
But we're going to jump here as Steve Gotzchalk has actually caught Justin Anderson.
Yeah, I was going to say, if we want to go side by side, I've actually got a great view of it here from Teddy Weichel's camera. They are...
as Justin is pitting?
Yeah, Justin Anderson is pitted.
I'm wondering if he's planning to use up those tires, because right now there is about a 1 second gap, but the pit lane time, you're talking about 1 minute.
The only thing I can think of is perhaps they did not think they could make it to the end on fuel with one more stop. And it might have just been a little too tight, and decided to go ahead and get the stop done now and then get a stop later. So it may be a two-stop race from here.
Well,
Justin Anderson would be one stop.
Right now, splitting it into 3 separate sections, not the worst idea. But right now, Justin Anderson has disconnected? There is no Justin Anderson.
Oh my goodness, did he have some sort of issue? This is...
Is the broken finger coming to haunt him?
Oh my goodness, this is... As Nick Adams would say, championship implications. That's awful. I hate that, whether it's technical or, you know, related to his finger, there could be something that is going to severely hurt Justin Anderson's chances here. I'm going to pull up the points here real quick. They have not updated yet, I don't think, but I'm going to do a refresh here. Yeah, Justin Anderson currently only 2 points ahead of Josh Hanner on the unofficial standings, and a massive 29-point gap behind Blake Gordon if it ended as it is. So that's a rough time for Justin Anderson there.
And for those who don't know, Justin Anderson is out there racing with a broken finger after he slipped and fell, trying to avoid some kids on the National Mall. So I do feel for him because he broke the tip of a finger. I've had that happen, unfortunate. Well, mine was rolling through a press, and yeah, not the most pleasant thing. I wasn't sim racing at the time, and I can only imagine how much it has to be hurting right now.
Yeah, and Justin Anderson just said he tried and he couldn't do it. So that's tough. I hate hearing that. You know, there are a lot of criticisms with, especially with the NASCAR points format. But you know, even with this one, which I think AOLL's format's better than NASCAR's, but it does suck that potentially an incredible season is undone by you know, an injury outside of racing.
Well, we had some people throughout the year. We had a broken arm. We've had broken chairs. And, oh, that is getting spicy. So I'm going to go ahead and...
I'll switch to something else. Yeah,
I was going to say, I'll just take over on that one so we can see this in full glory. But Brandon Bernhardt and Joe Dinsmore trying to make it interesting for us. And say what you will about Phoenix, I kind of like that this is the track that NASCAR is closing out the season on. Not that I don't love Homestead as a whole, but Phoenix, there are just so many different ways to battle. You can use the dogleg to your advantage. It's not that much slower going a lane out through 1 and 2. It's slower, but it's not as bad as some other tracks are. So you have options.
Yeah, no, I mean, I you know, and NASCAR changed their Homestead was the final for a long time. I don't want to see Phoenix remain the final for a long time either. I think that it's better to rotate it around, because you look at, you know, look, I'm gonna say, you know, Jimmy Johnson, one of the greatest of all time. But still, there's no doubt that when he was winning a lot of his championships, the chase format, those specific races were tracks that he was very good at, and he was able to optimize. And like, so I mean, I'm all for, like, you know, every once in a while just rotating things up a little bit, even if it's the same tracks, just changing the order of things a little bit. Keep the drivers on their toes, because they're going to tracks at different time of the year, and the same for sim racing. Like, I think you drive the same track at different times of the year, different temperatures, night versus day, makes a huge difference. So I'm all for rotating through a schedule.
And talking about all the injuries, I completely forgot about Derek Schilling and his broken hand.
Oh, I thought you said that one already.
Well, and he's out there texting and driving like he shouldn't be. So
Derek,
he is in a respectable ninth right now.
Wait, but what I want to know, if Derek can message us back, Derek, do you still have a broken hand? Because if you do, how do you have a hand on the steering wheel and are able to text?
It's voice to text. I know for a fact that that's what he's doing.
Look at him with his voice to text fanciness. Man, that's... I can barely do voice chat while I'm racing. Josh can attest to that when I recommend a caution when I'm trying to talk to people. So I'm impressed that you're able to do voice to text. That's really amazing.
And right now we are coming up to our next pit window, and we're starting to see those differences in tires as Gael Brooks is under pressure from Brandon Bernhardt, who has dropped Joe Dinsmore ever so slightly from that fight they were having earlier. And for those out there worried, Derek's hand is all better now.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
As Brandon's throwing one down below in 3 and 4 on Gael Brooks, and that's going to give him the opportunity to where if he wants to use the dog leg, he can. He chooses not to. And with the run that outside line is providing Gael Brooks, who's still fighting, I think Brandon needs to jump down into that dog leg and use as much of the track as he can.
I think so. The decision whether or not you use the dog leg really comes up to how your exit of turn 4 works out. Because there are some times where it just does not make sense to do it, but he's not doing it again. I don't know if perhaps, I mean, look, he's got speed on track right now. He may have found something there. His car just may not be working going down that dog leg on older tires.
It is bouncy.
Yo, no doubt.
No way around that one. And yeah, with the older tires, that could end up being a problem. As we're starting to see, there's just gaps forming all over the place, and Adam Wood here in 3rd. The next person behind him, and we keep going to the gearbox camera, and it's Teddy Weichel.
Yeah, Teddy Weichel is stalking tonight. He's hanging in there. Been really impressed with what I've seen out of him, because he's not a name you call very often to say, like, hey, Teddy Weichel has just caused a multi-car accident. He's just kind of the guy we call out to say, like, hey, he's making us some spots, and he seemed to do that over and over this season.
Well, and let's go ahead and go side by side and watch that pit lane entrance one more time, because I'm hoping we get to go green flag coming here.
Yeah, that's a good call there. Thanks for pointing that out. I think I agree. I think we're going to see some pit stops here real soon.
As we're seeing Adam Wood right there using all of the dog leg. He's not worried as, we jump to Adam Wood, and he is going to be our first taker. Gets it slowed down. Gael Brooks follows in behind him. And we're starting to see the trigger.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to have to, I mean, look, Adam Wood comes in. Steve Gottschalk, Blake Gordon have to be thinking about coming in real soon.
He was close enough to Steve Gotzchalk.
Teddy Weichel coming in.
Yeah, he was close enough to Steve Gotzchalk that one lap on those fresh tires, that may be the difference maker for him catching and possibly even surpassing.
Yeah, and I mean, Adam's probably not wanting to put his teammate a position back, but at the same time, I mean, Adam's just trying to go out and win this race. I mean, he wants to finish out the season strong, not racing for a championship now, so, I mean, look, all bets are off now.
But our leaders are staying out at this point. Blake Gordon's at the point where he would have to commit to coming in, and he is not taking the line to go into those pits.
And, something I've said multiple times, throughout the season. I think once you've committed to a strategy, I think you need to stick to it. Like, if you've decided that you're not going to be one of the short hitters, then you shouldn't, immediately come to answer. Now, I think now at this point, Steve Gottschalk and Blake Gordon are running the same strategy. If I'm Steve, I've got to be thinking, well, I need to do something different in order to pass him. If Blake's not going to pit, I think Steve should.
Well, as he's coming to the point, no, both of these guys are hanging out as long as they can, and right now we're starting to see, well, of course we can't see it because we're watching that, so let's go back here. They're on 47, 48 laps right now.
And some of it was caution laps, but they have to be thinking about coming in soon. It's based on pit numbers. I mean, our lap, I was seeing fuel numbers of 45, 46, 47 in some cases. So I think they could stretch it to that. So it should be caution laps, but they have to come in soon.
And according to this, John Gordon has yet to pit, and I don't think that's right.
John Gordon, well known for that insane fuel-saving strategy of being able to save double the amount of fuel as everyone else.
But no, Brandon Bernhardt is continuing to stay out. So is Joe Dinsmore. These guys are going to run it dry, hoping for that caution, because maybe someone was not ready for the fresh tires, full fuel, or they're looking to have a little less fuel and be lighter on those fresh tires so they can hopefully keep pace.
Adam Wood. Blake Gordon entered. I missed that. Blake Gordon has...
And Joe Dinsmore.
Yep.
So Steve Gottschalk is going to lead a lap. And I would think he's going to be reacting. Yeah,
he has to at this point. Here he comes.
So that is going to leave Mr. Brandon Bernhardt. No, Brandon is in. So I'm going to watch Adam Wood.
He's in a good spot right now. He's in a very good spot. We see the 13 on the map there in the pits. He's moving. So I'm actually going to switch over to Blake Gordon. If I can find him here.
And he's back out even with Adam Wood. So
we don't need to show the same thing. Whoops.
Yeah. Considering. But Blake is going to have to be a little bit careful because the cold tires are going to be a little extra slick.
Yeah, that's one thing that, I think you said it perfectly in our team chat on Thursday night is, the older tires feel really stable, but they are also very slow.
They are, but right now our race leader is Brian McFerrin, who is diving into the pits now. And that's going to leave Derek Schilling out there as our leader. And getting a lap led, I don't see how he's going to be able to stay out for another lap, but hey, he's going to have nice fresh tires as Joe Dinsmore gets his lap back.
And he's coming in right now, and that'll mean everyone has pitted.
And that is going to give Blake Gordon back the lead of this race, and those fresh tires have dropped Adam Wood.
Yeah, no surprise there. I mean, Blake was already insanely fast. Adam made the right strategy call. I mean, if Adam could have gotten out to a relatively sizable gap over Blake Gordon to the point that Blake had to burn through his tires a little bit in order to get caught up to Adam, then passing him might have been a lot more difficult. So Adam made the right call. It didn't work out this time.
But it may not work out in terms of the win, but Adam has quite a gap built up right now to third place of Guy L. Brooks. He is 5 seconds clear.
Yeah, I mean, there's no issue there. I mean, Kyle does have, actually, I was going to say tires, but there's the same tire strategy there. So, I mean, Adam's just sailing right now. There's no problem for him right now.
And here's the big thing is Adam Wood, Steve Gotzchalk, was effectively second place in this race. He has nearly 8 seconds clear of Steve Gottschalk.
Yeah, I was saying something earlier about Adam not wanting to push Steve Gottschalk down a position, but I mean, really what's happened more here is, I mean, Gottschalk has lost multiple positions. I mean, he's down 3 spots, and I'm going to take a look here at our point standings. Right now, Gottschalk is 9 points clear of Justin Anderson, 11 points clear of Tanner. But then Blake Gordon right now has a 20-point lead over Gottschalk. So right now, Blake Gordon in a very comfortable position with the points.
And with 25 to go, that is all but smooth sailing for Blake Gordon. And he could not have expected a better result from tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Blake Gordon right now has to be thinking, please no anti-Blake caution right now, right? he wants it to stay green until the end. He's got a great gap because what's going to happen if a caution comes out right now, they're all likely going to pit. You know, lap times, take a look here, see. Yeah, we've had some fairly sizable fall off already. They're all going to come pit. And, but for Blake Gordon, what has to be terrifying is, sure, they're all going to come pit. I've had great pace, but what if somebody doesn't pit? Well,
like a Carl Henderson.
Yeah, you know, but so one person doesn't pit, I could probably get around them. But what if 4 or 5 people don't pit? Then he might be in trouble.
Well, and that's the kind of risk that's going to have to happen, especially if we get something close to a green-white checker.
Yeah.
That would be the anti-Blake caution.
Yeah, no, Blake Gordon is hoping right now, look, let's just stay green. I think all of you guys are really good drivers, and we're capable of doing this, and that's what he's telling everyone. He wants this race right now to stay green, you know, by any cost, because if he can just go out and finish this race and it end the way it is currently set up, he is in a very, very good position with the points.
Well, as we're starting to look at this battle for third, Steve Gottschalk has stalked his way back up. He's on the bumper of Teddy Weichel with 7-lap fresher tires, and he's using all of that dog leg and wanting to get himself down there below Teddy Weichel. He's on the inside through 1 and 2 and should be able to get this move done coming out of turn 3.
Yeah, you would expect that, but it's also, I mean, even on fresher tires, it is tricky to pass here. I mean, he makes it work, but it's not as straightforward as you think it would be, which is why it's not always better to, you know, kind of play that strategy of, okay, I'm going to wait for a little bit and then take tires and pass a bunch of guys, because passing them on tracks is a whole lot tougher than passing them on pit road.
But Steve needs to get this job done as quickly as he can, because he's got 5 seconds. He needs to make up to Adam Wood to get himself back up into second.
You know, I'm looking at lap times here. I don't think he makes that up over the remainder of the race. I think that's just, you know, unless, you know, he is trying to race around other people. He's trying to pass people, so his lap times are slower, but plus burning up his tires a little bit. I don't think he can make up that gap right now between him and Adam Wood.
Well, he can make up that gap and get himself up into third, but Gael is holding strong and doing everything he needs to do to stay in front of Steve, while Steve is about 0.2 of a second faster on that last lap.
Yeah, and you know what you were saying there about like the fact that, you know, he may be able to get third here. I mean, the way this series is set up with the points, there really isn't that much of a difference between third and second, right? I mean, it's a 1 point difference, so it's not like, for instance, the TNT series where it's a pretty sizable gap between second and third. So, sure, you get first, you get a decent little points bonus due to winning the race, but, right now, Gottschalk's focus, sure, it'd be nice to get around Adam Wood, but his focus should be on maintaining third at this point.
And he has the lap lead, so he does have bonus points coming his way. So that is a distinct positive, but Blake Gordon's led a lap. He has the pole, and he also has the most laps led because, with the exception of pit cycles, he's led them all.
Yeah, Blake Gordon has put on a clinic tonight. If I'm not mistaken, thought that he was going. I'm pretty sure he said that he thought he was going to win this race on our podcast Friday night. And it's no shocker. I mean, this is really his style of track. It's not Martinsville, but I mean, it's very flat as we're seeing in this corner right here. No surprise here, but still, I think even with that, Blake has exceeded my expectations tonight. He's just dominated this race.
And yeah, there's absolutely no doubt about that. As we're coming around, we have 13 to go. Mr. Blake Gordon is, putting on the normal clinic.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, I think putting on a clinic's no surprise, but I still think this is even unusual by his standards outside of the Martinsville race. I mean, this is just domination. I mean, it's at no point tonight has it looked like anybody can compete with him. He's just been incredible.
And he's coming up on Brian McFerrin, who's about a tenth of a second slower on the last lap. And at this point, if I'm Blake, it's cruise time. But it also looks like Adam Wood may actually, as we see Gael take out a cone. And luckily, after the first person hits it, that cone is now just a ghosted object, so you can't pick that one up yourself. But we're starting to see Steve Godstock. Granted, John Gordon's between them, but Steve Gotzchalk is coming into frame with Adam Wood, and about 0.35 seconds faster than Adam on that last lap. So he may actually be able to close down the gap, but I'm not sure if he'll be able to get the pass done.
Yeah, that's and this is, again, if I'm in Adam's shoes right now, I'm not trying to keep that gap from shrinking because that's kind of a hopeless cause. What I'm doing is trying to make sure my tires are in decent enough condition so that when Godstock catches me, I'm able to battle him. But even with that case, I mean, Gottschalk might catch him. It's going to be tight. Personally, I don't think he's going to make it, but if Adam has to keep battling lap traffic here, it's a possibility.
Well, but we also have to figure Steve is going to have to battle those same lapped cars as, apparently Derek has taken over Blake's vendetta against cones tonight.
I agree. I mean, Gottschalk has to, battle those same cars. And, he's coming up on John Gordon, who's having some massive connection issues right now.
And that is the scariest thing you could possibly experience out there on track, not knowing where another car is as you're trying to get around them.
I think Hannah would be terrified of that right now because, John Gordon is like a ghost.
Yeah, he does not like ghosts. We learned that on the podcast on Friday. But Steve has made his way around, and now the only person that stands between them is Dan Witt. But with only 6 to go, I think that gap is going to be insurmountable at this point.
That is actually not Dan Witt. That is David Naughton. They are running pretty similar cars.
Oh, that's right. I frequently forget about that.
But yeah, I do think Adam is sandbagging a little bit here. don't think Steve's going to get around. If Steve gets around, I think it's because Adam is helping out his teammate.
And I don't know if Adam's that much of a gentleman.
I mean, I certainly wouldn't be. Every race I go into, I want to finish as high as I can, and in as high a position as I can, to clarify. And that's my focus. I'm usually not thinking about like, well, what do I need to do to help my teammates out the most? And it's always about what do I need to do to maximize my race, because while helping my team's great, it's my race ultimately.
And there's the cone again, in the middle of the track.
Poor cone.
Poor Marshall, who has to keep putting it back.
Yeah, there hadn't been a single caution, so I think the Marshall's having to run out during green flag conditions and grab it and run back and hope he didn't get hit.
Well, he's got about 30 seconds between each lap to go back out there and get it as, well, let's see. Oh, he didn't get as much air on it this time. But 3 laps left. And
well, I've got the focus on our leader if you want to.
I was setting that up, hoping that is what you had.
So we can keep an eye on our leader, who is doing a bunch of stuff that's really boring right now, and just
well,
for a cruise.
With 2 laps to go, we'll go ahead and jump back here for what may be as there's that cone again. And I think the problem is, as we told Derek that we were watching that, is we've got our white flag flying, so now he's doing it every time by just to keep us entertained. But actually, I think as we do this, we'll give Blake the proper view of coming across the line. He is in turn 3, 4, and across the line to take the win tonight, the first of the final round of 3.
Oh, Brandon Bernhardt crashed.
Well, let's see what happens here. Oh,
yeah,
crossing the line, just having fun, I would assume.
Well,
that was him just, yeah. Well, that's...
I don't know if that's very good racecraft.
That is not good racecraft, but we have our results for the night, and we'll leave Blake in the background, burning the good years down to the threads. Our winner tonight is Blake Gordon. 2nd place is Adam Wood. 3rd is Steve Godstock. 4th, Guile Brooks. 5th is Teddy Weichel. Joe Dinsmore is in 6th. Brandon Bernhardt 7th. Brian McFerrin in 8th. Derek Schilling 9th. And David Naughton in 10th.
In 11th, we have John Gordon. 12th is Justin Edwards. 13th, Dan Witt. 14th, Justin Anderson. 15th, Tim St. Jean. And in 16th, Mike Burgess.
All right, let's go ahead and grab our race winner, Mr. Blake Gordon. Hey, Blake, this is Josh and Carl in the booth. You got a copy?
I do indeed. What's going on?
So you called your shot on Friday. And are you going to take and put it in actual victory lane? Or are you just going to do donuts and try to do some slalom through some walls there?
No, it's here. I gotta do it, right?
Hey, all I've got to ask you, man, is, we're trying to put on a great broadcast here, and both for GFM and for AOLL. Could you have made it a little more interesting for us, please? Because you just coming out and dominating a race makes for some pretty boring viewing.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about spinning it out once or twice just to, go to the rear, see if I could work my way back up. Thought about maybe speeding on pit road, during the yellow flag or something. I don't know.
I was rooting for VR issues. That's what I had my money on, and it didn't happen tonight. But heck of a win tonight.
Thank you. Yeah, I was scared of the VR issues all night. Thankfully, they didn't happen. But yeah, it feels great to get the win tonight. Good time of the year to get 5 in a row.
I would say that this is the best time to have a sudden surge that no one really could have expected, given the selection of tracks and some of the issues you've had.
Yeah, no, I mean, Charlotte Roval, that's one of my strengths for sure, road course races. And then, Texas, Chicagoland, wouldn't really expect to get wins there. Just, executed, at Texas, got the win. Oh boy, we got visitors coming. Time to, oh God, I can't see. I'm not Tow Mater, I can't go in reverse. Oh God. And then Martinsville was Martinsville. Yeah, kind of show up expecting to do well there. And tonight, I love this place. This new track and new set felt great. So that was a lot of fun.
So I have to ask the big question. Was running the ARCA on Thursday actually good preparation for tonight?
No, not really. The ARCA car, I think, drove much better than this did. This was a little snap loose early, but I like it. I like the car around the edge. I like being able to kind of brake, get it right on that edge of grip, and just use the wheel and the gas to kind of keep the slip angle to a minimum and just be able to drive it up out of the corner. The ARCA would turn into the corner a lot better. When you go on the brakes, it would actually turn in. I could drive it actually deeper with the ARCA than I could with this. The two things definitely felt different, but I guess just getting track time on the new track helped, just kind of knowing the line. The line was similar, but just the way you actually drove it was definitely different.
So we saw you have getting a really good race tonight. You're, according to what I'm pulling up on the points, I mean, unofficial points because we don't have the official ones uploaded yet, but looking like about a 16-point lead over Gottschalk, and unfortunately Justin Anderson had issues and had to drop out, so he's quite a ways back. But with that gap right now, does that change your approach for the next two races, or are you going in the exact same mindset you would have had, had you been like a 2 or 3 point gap?
I mean, going in and winning the races has been working out great so far, so I don't see a reason to change that up.
I mean, shouldn't you be going out every race trying to win?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sweeping the last round really put me in a good spot for this round. We saw over in Sportsman what one guy maxing out points could do. So I basically had that cushion already from the last round, which worked out great. And then tonight coming in, max points again. So yeah, I mean, going in to each race, trying to win it, I mean, it helps, especially if you can pull it off. So next week at Rockingham, I'm going to go in, try to do the same thing. If I can get it done, that makes Homestead, a lot easier on me, not having to go in there and try to get a win. Justin, I know he's listening. I hope his hand is feeling better. I hope it's healed by Homestead so he can get in there and win it. But yeah, I know going into Homestead, trying to beat him and Hanner, who I wish was here again, because it sucks having two chase drivers not be able to, one of them not be here, the other one not be able to finish the race. But yeah, it would make it easier going into Homestead, not having to win it or do really well. So Rockingham, yeah, goal's gonna be go in there, kick ass, and try to win that one too.
I mean, I don't see why it would be anything else, because we just expect you to go out there and try to own every single race that's out there.
Yeah, I don't know. Speaking of Rockingham, I don't know if last year we were on the low horsepower, high downforce set, but already in testing, I'm way faster than I was last year. So I think it feels a little bit different. So I think we might be on high horsepower, low downforce there, which makes it feel great. So that should be a fun race. Apparently last year, by the way, this is the one race that I cannot go back and find. I guess your guys' broadcasts don't stay up permanently, so it's too far back to go pull up. It's not on Facebook, not on YouTube. In Joe's replay directory, he wasn't there that night, so last year's Rockingham race does not exist.
I'll have to ask around, see if there's anybody that has that.
Yeah, I was just trying to go look back and see what happened. I mean, Steve and I split the laps, and apparently, just talking with the team afterwards, I guess I slid through my box and hit the wall twice, so I guess that probably had something to do with it. But I just wanted to go see what happened and how to avoid, playing the strategy wrong or whatever next week.
Well, I would say what you should avoid, if that's the case, is avoid sliding through your box and avoid hitting the wall twice.
Yep, that's going to be the plan. Rockingham, turn 2 is a killer. But the setup feels great. I really hope we just kind of leave that alone. You don't want a tight car on entry there, and the setup feels really good getting into the corner. and you can definitely drive it off with throttle, which is great. So really looking forward to next Sunday night.
Well, we look forward to most likely inevitably chatting with you.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm
Some
chatting with you
point.
guys, it's always been a good night. Things have usually gone well. If I get to talk to you guys first, things have gone really well. So
A great run tonight.
thanks.
Dominant fashion. We'll let you get back to celebrating with your father, who's down there patiently waiting to congratulate you. And
I'm sure. I wish Brandon was here. He had a bit of a rough night. I'm waiting for Phoenix to be nice to him finally, so maybe next year.
it was relatively nice to him on Thursday. Except
Yeah.
for some idiots getting on to the inside of him. But
All right, fellas.
enjoy your evening, sir, and we'll chat with you at some point this week, I'm sure.
All right. Well, it looks like the points actually got updated. It's
Yep.
21 to Steve. So
Yep, you're in a good spot right now.
yeah, that's pretty healthy. I'll take it. I just wish we could stop the count right now.
Yeah.
I mean, some leagues it did.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'll chat with you guys maybe Wednesday. If not, I don't know.
All right, we'll catch you later, sir.
All right, later, guys.
All right, we've made Mr. Adam Wood wait long enough. Yeah, I honestly don't know why we're even bringing Adam up here.
Well, I'm going to say the same thing that he said about my race Thursday night. Nothing interesting happened other than Blake Gordon leading, I guess. So.
Yes, exactly. He put on a clinic 2 weeks in a row.
Hey, man, you did have a great run tonight, up 12 spots from the start of the race. But the main thing I want to ask you, first off, right off the bat, is with the pit strategy there. You pitted earlier than Blake Gordon. And some of the others, and you were able to gain some spots on that. And it looked like when Blake came out of the pit road, it looked like you guys were going to battle for a little bit. But unfortunately, his fresher tires was able to get around you. But were you hoping that maybe you could get, obviously, I'm sure you were hoping this, but did you think that you'd possibly be in front of him there and maybe been able to hold him off?
Well, I kind of didn't know where he was at on the track. I mean, he was already leaving us in the dust there. So I didn't know how big of a gap I had, how long he was going to run. I just knew that I couldn't sit on the track and do the same thing as everybody else is, running the tank dry. So I looked in my mirror and I was like, screw it, let's go in now. I have it, I have enough fuel to the end. Let me undercut everybody and see if this plays out. I mean, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, depending on the length of the track left, the race left. And, it worked out for me. I think Steve was slowly catching me near the end. But I think he just went a little bit too hard and kind of got himself sideways and then had to regroup and try to come back. But it would have been close if we had another 5-10 laps to go and Steve didn't mess up if he could have came up there and battle with me. But I was able to leapfrog him and put myself in the second after destroying myself in qualification and starting in the back.
No, it was one of those races that I kind of went away from your rules of not showing you anymore.
I mean, tonight, I don't have the pressure of the playoffs or trying to do whatever. I'm here to have fun now. So whenever, I didn't have a bad, I started in the back, I just cruised. I was just cruising all night long, and I'm just slowly catching people and passing people. It's just fun to have that mentality, and there's no really stress to it. So, that's all I was trying to do tonight. Just go out and have a good time. 2 weeks in a row, I finished P2 to Blake, so I'll take that any day of the week. I'll take a win too, but to get second's real nice.
So, we know you ran here with IVRL. Do you think that gave you an advantage over some of the other guys, or do you just think, track conditions, all of that, obviously guys are racing are different. Do you think there's just too much of a difference to really give you an advantage there?
Yes and no. I mean, it just helped to have him grip all night because Tuesday was during the daytime. The track started out about 96 and ended at about 85. Tonight we started around about 80, and we're at 70 right now. So, I mean, I'll take it as, the track was a little bit better. I felt like I had a really good long run car on IVRL for the first 2 stages, and then third stage. I don't know. I think I got into Patrick Gaspar got into me and just kind of ruined my car for a long run speed. But just like Tuesday though, we had Dalton and Causey having more pace than anybody, and then tonight we had Blake Gordon out there having more pace than anybody. I don't think anybody really had much to him. He just had to have some type of catastrophic event to knock him from winning the race tonight, and I was hoping for it.
Well, that's just mean.
Yeah. Sometimes that's the only way you can get a win. I'll take a win no matter way. Any way I could get it, man.
I mean, you got a second, which maybe not the win, but still a darn good run tonight. Strategy played in your favor, and it seems people were waiting for those cautions that just never came.
Yeah, I mean, I call this a win for me. I start, messing on the qualification, starting back there in like 13th, 14th, I believe, and driving my way back up to second. This is a, kind of tough track to get a pass on. You had to have that momentum through 1 and 2. That's the only way I really found that's a really good spot, is to really have the momentum coming out of turn 2, going on the back straightaway, and almost clear them before you get into turn 3, because they can still get a good run on the outside out of 4 and make your life a little bit difficult going into 1 and 2.
So you've referenced it multiple times with your qualification woes, and we missed it. What happened on qualification?
I gave her a little bit too much coming around turn 4.
We saw a few of those.
Yeah, just had a really good lap going, and just spun it coming off the rear end. I tried to brake in time so I can restart my lap, but when I across the finish line, unfortunately, and then when you do that, you don't get a second lap. I mean, you do, but it's like, really, 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 really long. So yeah, it is what it is. Like, I wasn't mad. I don't have that pressure on me for the playoff. I'm just here to have some fun now and go out and race everybody as clean as possible and try and get the best finish possible.
Well, second is a way to have a lot of fun. Not the most fun you could possibly have, but it was still a great run from you tonight. Getting to chat with you a few times recently, which is always entertaining.
Yeah, and then I feel bad for Justin not being able to make it tonight. He gave as much as he could and just had to take a seat basically. But I feel bad. I knew he wanted to be out here. I think he would have probably came home second even after me trying to undercut everything. I think he had just a little bit better of a car than me, but sad that he had to bow out early. But hopefully by either Wednesday or next Sunday, it's feeling good, a little bit better, and he can actually finish the race. It's gonna be tough since it's the Rock.
No, yeah. It's definitely going to be an interesting race next week. I'm looking forward to it, but I think we can let you get back to your team, because we've got another one of your teammates to bring up here, and he's still in the chase.
Yes, he is, Mr. Steve Godstock.
All right, great run. We will catch you maybe on Wednesday, sir.
Alrighty, have a good night, man.
See ya. All right, and finally, Mr. Steve Gotzchalk. Hey, Steve, you got Josh and Carl in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Josh and Carl. I think I know you guys.
I was going to say, I think we've talked to you a lot in the past week.
Yeah, definitely.
So, gotta ask you. I mean, obviously, third place, solid, run tonight. I don't think anyone can really complain about that with the kind of night Blake Gordon had. But looking at the points right now, you are 21 points back from Blake Gordon, and he's winning 5 in a row. He seems unstoppable right now. What do you think you have to do over the next 2 weeks in order to win the championship?
Probably turn into Kyle Larson or something. I honestly,
you could turn to Alex Bowman as well and just wreck Blake.
That's true too. Of course, it would only be because I got loose.
Right, of course.
That's a hard lead to overcome, and I think that first of all, I probably have to win out, and secondly, I think Blake is probably going to have some bad luck and I just don't. I don't know what the odds are of that happening. I mean, I ran well I won Rockingham and I won Homestead last season, but it's different. You know, everything's different this year, and I don't feel I've been quite as good as I was last year.
I mean, you're still up here, you're still chatting with us, and what was going through your brain with that last pit stop? Because obviously you guys were running a dry, but Adam came in 7 laps before you guys.
Yeah, I had considered short pitting, and we discussed that in the team channel, and decided that it would probably be better for me to stay out and try and get a lap lead and get that point. I thought I would be able to hang on to second, and I wasn't aware that Adam had pitted, although I was definitely catching him at the end until, I don't know if you saw it, but I kind of lost control. So I might have gotten second, but it ends up being a wash because the point I got for leading a lap was wiped out by finishing third.
I can't argue with that kind of logic, because going through the playoffs, all those extra points add up.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, okay, I would have been 1 point farther ahead and still 20 points behind Blake. So I don't think there's any way I was beating him. I mean, if I had short pitted and he didn't follow me in the next lap, I don't even know if I would have gotten ahead of him. And if he had waited the extra 7 laps, then I'm sure he would have caught me and passed me, because he was just that good tonight.
Well, so you said Blake was that good, but I know you haven't had a chance to watch the broadcast or any replays probably at this point. But just judging by what you were able to see on track, where do you think Blake was beating you the most? What do you think he was doing that you weren't?
Honestly, I didn't get close enough to see. So I don't know what he was doing. I'm guessing that he must have found something, some way to get on the gas off the turns better than I was able to, and still hang on to the car. That was my biggest problem. I was just having to be very conservative and not press the throttle too hard until I was almost pointed straight, especially coming off of turn 2.
Yeah, turn 2 was brutal, and honestly, I'm going to say, for your sake, we apparently missed your little whoops.
Well, what happened was I came off of turn 4, and I was really, trying hard to figure out how to gain more time on Adam than what I was gaining just being fairly conservative. And so I stepped on the gas too hard too early with the wheel turned a little bit too far, and you know how that goes in iRacing.
And especially on this track.
Yeah, definitely with the low downforce package. And so, of course, it went down onto the apron. I was headed for the wall, and I just had to get off it and step on the brakes. No, thankfully, I didn't hit anything.
I mean, any way you slice it, it was still a great run from you tonight. You qualified forward, and you lost the position only because of pit strategy. It was still a darn good run tonight, and given injuries and travel, you're still going into next week at a track that you've won in second place.
Yeah, that feels pretty good. I'm sorry about what happened with Justin, because his finger just got to be too painful, I guess, for him to be able to hang on. And I really think that out of all of us, that Justin had the best shot at challenging Blake for the championship. So I'm sad to see that happen. But I guess it's on me now.
No pressure.
No, not at all. And I don't know if the message got to you guys or not, but I had a little extra handicap today because I don't know if I ate something I shouldn't have last night or what. But I had the flu-like food poisoning type stuff going on today, and I haven't had a thing to eat. I've only been drinking Gatorade so far.
That's awful.
Yeah, that we were trying to not share too much information.
Yeah.
And then we ended up on a whole conversation about it in the middle of the race.
Oh, great.
But no, it was a great run from you tonight. We look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Rockingham, keeping in the back of our minds that you are the reigning winner there.
That's right. And hopefully I can defend that.
That's what I'm hoping to see too. But we'll let you get back to hanging out with your team, dissecting what happened tonight, and try to get yourselves back up here to chat with us next week.
Got it. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the broadcast. Congrats, Blake, for the win, and Adam on second place. And I look forward to hopefully talking to you guys next week.
I'm looking forward to it as well. Thank you, sir. All right, that is going to do it for us here at Ghostfire Media. Make sure catch us throughout the week. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m., we have the Fuel Racing League, the second week of their playoffs.
9 p.m.
9 p.m. God, I'm the one doing it this week. 9 p.m. They will be at Atlanta. Wednesday, we will have the AOLL Sportsman Series. That'll be coming to you from the Daytona Road Course, which will be entertaining for Carl to broadcast alone.
Can't wait.
And Thursday, we have the season finale of the TNT Series. I don't even remember. We're at Las Vegas. That'll be 8 p.m. Friday, we will have the podcast as per usual. A lot of fun conversations going into the last weeks of championships for both Fuel and Sportsman.
All coming up, wrapping up. We're getting close.
And next Sunday, catch us for Rockingham for the AOLL Cup Series. But for Ghostfire Media, I'm Josh Laston. He's Carl Henderson. We will see you all at some point this week.
Thank you for watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.